It's time for another Dice Tower review with Zee Garcia.
Hey everybody, I'm reviewing the Paco games from Perplext, Paco Game 2. 8 more games in this tiny little format, and today I'm specifically taking a look at this one right here, Boo. Boo is a 2-player tile laying game in which you are attempting to flip over the tiles to match your color, try to get the most ghosts, and win the game. I'm going to give you a look at how this works. We'll come on back. I'll tell you what I thought of it. I'm also going to rank this one against the other 8 just for fun. And I'm going to rank it against the original 8, just where it lands among all 16 games. Again, just because I kind of want to do that. I like to do that sort of thing. So here we go. Let's take a look at it, and I'll see you in just a second. To set up the game, we are going to put together the little gate here for the graveyard where the ghosts are hanging out, and then we give each player their own respective deck of cards. These are double-sided with the ghosts changing color and facing on the other side, but each player has their own deck denoted by the little lines separating the 3 squares per card. So these are going to be shuffled up, and then you can begin the game. Each player is going to have one of the cards from the top of the deck in their hand, and you are ready to go. So we're going to start with this player over here, the Black Ghosts player. And they are going to take the card that's in their hand, and they are going to add it somewhere to the graveyard here, to the layout, following the grid that's being formed by the squares, using, of course, the lines to help them. And what you're attempting to do is have the most ghosts of your color showing at the end of the game. You're going to get 1 point per ghost face up in your color. And if you beat your opponent, you, of course, win the game. So the way this works is you are going to play a card, and then you are going to follow the line of sight of each ghost you just played. And each one is facing a specific way. So, for example, on this card here, this ghost is facing that way. This one's facing up. This one's facing that way. And you follow it until it hits either a graveyard, something like this, or a ghost of the other color. And if that ghost of the other color is facing right back, then nothing happens. Just like if you hit a graveyard, nothing happens. But if they're looking any other direction, I guess one ghost spooks the other ghost, and they're going to switch colors. So this one's looking at this one, and it happens to not be looking back. So this card is going to be flipped over, like so. And then this player would draw a new card so they can look at it, and this player would take their turn. Obviously, again, you can sort of place this however you want to. I'm going to do, let's do something smart. I would do this. These two are facing each other, but this one will, in fact, change this card over. And so we flip over that card. And this player draws. And then back over here where this player is going to play, and they might do something like that. Flipping this one. Probably not a very good play, but that's what I did. All right. And this is going to continue back and forth. It is possible, by the way, that you will play a card. For example, this player might play a card here that does, in fact, have the white ghost, the one they're not rooting for, changing a black ghost over. So that is possible. You can typically avoid finding yourself in that situation, but it is part of the rules. You need to account for that. This continues until all the cards have been played by both players, and then you count up the number of ghosts per player. Most of whatever, of white or most black, that player would be the winner of the game. Boo is an interesting little game, but it's not one I find myself gravitating towards. It's not one I think I'm going to be playing much more than the few times I've played. It's one that I mainly find to be a little fiddly. Flipping over all the cards back and forth, especially once you're getting closer to the end of the game, becomes a little just annoying, having to make sure, oh wait, don't knock the pattern out of whack and all of that. So, and then the gameplay itself, while clever and interesting, and you do have a couple of moments of, ooh, if I play this card here, I can hit both of those across the setup here, is basically the exact same game the second time you play. And so I find it to be quickly samey and fiddly. And those things are what knocks it down for me a little bit. Not a bad game, just not one that excites me. I enjoyed my first play, second was okay, And then after that, I just sort of played a little more to finalize my thoughts, but I had it, right? So that's what I think of it. Now, this one does have on the side here a 2. That is Perplext ranking of how difficult the game is to grasp. 1 being casual, 2 intermediate, 3 they call challenging. This is a 2. This feels like maybe a 1 to me, but I get where they're coming from here. Among the 8, this is my number 7. There are 6 games I like more. There is 1 I like less than this, but clearly not at the top of the pack for me. And there's, again, nothing necessarily wrong with this one. I just don't see it sticking around for much longer, you know. Among all of the games, out of all 16, this is my 13. There are 3 others I like less than this, and taking a look at that statistic leads me to believe that overall, this Pack-O Game 2 set is, generally speaking, stronger than the original set, because this beats out 1 in this deck, in this set rather, and 2 in the original set, the original 8. So overall, I do think the project here, the Pack-O Game series of games, is interesting and clever, and they have continued to keep their steam, so to speak. But Boo is not one of my favorites. So I would recommend it if you enjoy tile laying, tile flipping games a lot. The games are certainly inexpensive. You could get it and play it a few times and really, get your money's worth. You could be done with it at that point. But for me, I just don't. The staying power for me isn't here. So that's it for Boo.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.